Well, I mean, I tried to do it a little better today. Do you like it? You see, if you put the dress on and maybe you adjust things properly, it doesn't look. I don't look so oompa loompa, right? Does it look? Does it look? Would you think I look like a lusty lady? Do I look voluptuous? Would you be okay taking me out as your accessory when you go to meet with all of the people and you go to get all of your deals done and you go to hook things up? So is it adequate? Will it suffice? I mean, I'm a little more feminine today than I was before, right? I mean, some people like that. They take you more seriously, especially if you're trying to cooperate on something, if you're more gender appropriate. Do you like the tone of voice? I know it sounds a little valley girl. This isn't how I talk at all. But I think it's how you want me to talk, right? But here's the problem. Here's the problem. Even though I made all of those changes for you, they did this thing where they hooked up a completely different situation where they were making a duplicate of me. They were making a duplicate of me. It was like they were copying things about me and then trying to get me to change who I was in the time and trying to get me to change the way I acted and dressed so that they could make a copy of me, and then they could take the things they liked about me and put it onto that person, and then they could give all of this other stuff that somebody else had to deal with, that they didn't want to deal with, onto me. So what ended up happening is around the time I'm supposed to be moving to a new city and maybe starting a new life that I had totally worked for, no debt, my credit was excellent. I didn't have a lot, but I had enough to make my own home and prepare that home to be ready for somebody I'd hoped to share it with while that person pursued what they intended to do with their life, which was to receive a higher degree. And I was going to work for a law firm, another law firm, this time having to deal with matters related to criminal law, not just real estate and family law. And perhaps after a period of time working with them, I might be in a position where I myself could possibly go back to school. Maybe learn some technical skills, or maybe get a degree, maybe qualify, maybe take that time I spent working in an administrative role at that law firm and gotten some actual practical experience by engaging with my colleagues, maybe even participating in political process above and beyond just going to that conference. I could have actually got to the libraries. I had access to Westlaw. I had access to LexisNexis. I just didn't use it at the time because I was preparing. I had to do certain things, and lo and behold, all of a sudden I start getting very depressed. Something's going on people aren't discussing. I know more than they're giving me acknowledgement for. And then 15 years down the road, I am not anymore an American, am I? I'm not. And so now we have to deal with a very serious problem, which is that 50%. Do you have any idea what it's like to have somebody waive a tariff at 50% off onto you? I don't think you're supposed to live. I think they understand and anticipate, based on their capabilities, that there are certain people that could actually produce something very substantial in having to process what goes into having to pay a 50% tariff. But the only kind of people that would be capable of doing such a thing are the kind of people that could also very, very seriously and significantly challenge your concept of what justified your positioning to even levy a 50% tariff to begin with. And that's where we are today. You know, they talk about differences in quality. Steel that's made in China is not supposed to have the same quality as steel that's made in Brazil. And we all know, especially if we're American, how important American-made steel is, at least traditionally. They use different processes now than they did then. Some of it's been automated. There was a time frame wherein I had a discussion with somebody. He used to work in the technical development of automation processes connected to the Japanese steel industry. He told me some things. He told me that there are actually a number of Japanese companies that produce steel in China. Did you know that? I didn't know that before he told me. These are very important matters. Just like what happened during the Rio Games. Now, who would think about steel tariffs and the Olympics at the same time? I bet you if you're capable of working a 50% tariff, you can. And you probably already have. I would like to know more, actually, about what was supposed to have been put under a non-disclose agreement or confidentiality agreement, or what was sealed in the late summer, early autumn of 2018, after there was a significant matter that intersected an American-based bank with Petrobras in consideration of allegations concerning the activities of Petrobras. See, there was already a pre-existing claim that to this day has not been acknowledged. It was not in Brazil. And it has now been more than 4 years since that initial claim was opened up. The specific reference to Brazil and matters of consideration, well, are outstanding. That is not the kind of thing that is allowed to be collapsed into another proceeding and then sealed as part of a settlement for monetary damages. They were criminal charges. They still are.